Hello everybody, and just here, and welcome back to Maou 2099, episode 3, in which Veltol Velvet Velsvald will probably start his VTuber career? No, not quite a VTuber career, FlashTuber, YouTuber, streamer, whatever you want to call it, right? Because that's basically apparently what he's going to be doing. And he was inspired to do so, but no one else but Mother freaking Towa-sama Hololive, who is already on the first frame of episode 3. So chances are she's gonna be important. I mean, she already was important enough to the show by inspiring Veltol, but she's gonna be even more important, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if there are any other Hololive members that are also gonna be showing up. I don't know. As a bit of housekeeping, to start with that, I tweaked my audio settings in OBS a little bit. I thought that it might be like cutting off a lot of those quieter sounds, like maybe laughing or, you know, things like that, and it was kind of unnatural at times because you could see me laugh, but there would be absolutely no sound because OBS deemed that to be like below the noise threshold. So I tweaked that a little bit, so let me know in the comments. Does it sound better? Does it sound worse? Should I tweak it further? Should I go back to how it was? I don't know. Let me know. Let's talk about the previous episode of Maou 2099, what exactly happened there. Well, Maou decided that he's not going to be a freeloader and he will find a job. And he couldn't find a job. Because to find a job, you need to have the familia, right? Because that's essentially your like ID. It gives you access to I don't know if they even have bank accounts. Presumably they do, right? Like money is not stored on the familia itself, or I don't know, maybe it's the future. Maybe all of the money is some sort of a crypto thing in the ether blockchain. I don't know. But yeah, you basically need a familia because it's your identification, it's your credit card, it's your passwords, it's your absolutely everything, and you just cannot work without it. So his search for a job was largely unsuccessful. He was briefly considering a specific company, but someone... no, he wasn't considering it. A random dude approached him and told him that, you know, wherever you want to look for a job, don't look for a job at that particular company. I believe it's like a construction company. I could be mistaken there. I don't know if it was mentioned or not. But apparently it's shady somehow, so I believe it might become relevant in the future. We'll see about that, of course. And we also get a little bit of a glimpse into that like underbelly of the city, right? Because the man who advised Veltol also said that you can't do that, you know, shouting for a job and screaming and being a nuisance in our territory, right? He said something to that effect, which also means there's probably some sorts of like factions or gangs or whatever in the dark underbelly of the city, maybe cooperating, maybe having some alliances, maybe warring with each other, and it seems like it would be something that Maou could also potentially get into, right? All of those people are down on their luck, and Maou might just about find some recruits among them. I don't know. In the end, though, he asked Makina for help, and Makina asked Takahashi for help because apparently they're friends. And as they were talking about things and stuff at a bar, the barkeep turned on the TV, and there she was, Tokoyami Towa herself in the flesh. Well, not quite flesh, but in the model, in the 2D or 3D. I think it's a 3D model of hers. And that's how Veltol got inspired, because his goal, finding the job, was something that, well, first of all, pays at least something that will allow him to spread his name far and wide so that perhaps his sympathizers might notice him, and something that will bring him enough renown to, rise up in the ranks of the world. And being a celebrity like that, yeah, it absolutely fits the bill. So he purchased, or I'm assuming rather Makina purchased, a PC or a laptop or something, a webcam, a microphone, and thus Veltol became a tuber, like a potato. I learned in Mahonare that potatoes and sweet potatoes are different things, which completely blew my mind because apparently potatoes are a part of the stem, the tubers, and sweet potatoes are a part of the root, which is apparently not a tuber. So my my world has changed ever since then. But regardless, I don't know what's gonna happen in today's episode. Is it just gonna be him streaming, or is something else gonna happen? I don't know. Are we gonna focus more on the slice of lifey things? Are we gonna focus more on recruitment? I have no idea quite yet. So how about we watch and see for ourselves, right? Shall we? And to do that, you're gonna need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube, down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching Maou 2099, episode 3 in 3, 2, 1, go. Storima indeed. Yeah. Okay, so he got the equipment from her. Gotcha. There aren't really any better prospects right now, though. So, yeah. True. Yeah, I mean, he's about interesting enough to not need to be a chuny or not need to pretend. Also, an amazing niche. Someone who presumably haven't played any games. Right? He can make all those, uh, big titles, playing Minecraft for the first time, right? Playing Terraria for the first time, playing Stardew Valley for the first time, right? That brings views. People are gonna be like, who the fuck hasn't played Minecraft until 2099? And they're gonna watch it. They're absolutely gonna watch it. I know I would. Actually, there is a channel um, about Oliver, is the name of the channel. And he never played Minecraft before. And he has a whole entire Let's Play of Minecraft without looking anything up. And it's equal parts amazing and hilarious as it is painful, because he through no fault of his own, because Minecraft can be obtuse like that. And I realized it by watching that playthrough that, redstone is not really explained all that well anywhere. So seeing him fumble around with redstone and torches and completely misunderstanding how it works actually makes sense for someone who's never played it and who never looked anything up. I can really recommend watching it. It really just opens your eyes at how old and, overgrown over time Minecraft is. And also, he's a great Let's Player, so there's also that. That's a cool system, a scroll bar in the physical part. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah. Also great music, by the way. Where's some clothes? Yeah, she's not used to not living alone. Dogeza. Yeah, indeed. That's a surprisingly normal reaction. I like have expected her to just blush completely red and throw something at him. But no, surprisingly normal reaction. I like it. PS, what would be now? PS11 controller controlling a not quite Windows, not quite Linux. Oh, just right. Everything works with. Oh, that was Steam. Uh, of course, he's gonna be playing Dark Souls. What else? Yeah? I mean, it's gonna make for some nice entertainment. I mean, analyzing how a controller works and being able to, operate it and see and hand eye coordination, two different things. Yeah. Oh, that's how he gets the o- Otsudevil? Otsumao? Otsumao, I think it was. Something along those lines. Damn. Yeah, again, checks out with the reality. I mean, if you look at it that way, then true. Probably not gonna work. You're gonna get banned if you proclaim war crimes. I mean, it works. Skip this bit, but, I will give you the greatest time of your lives. Hey, a little bit too long, yeah. Please tell me he's using OBS. Kinda like shuffled around, but mostly OBS. Yeah. Yep. Throw in some anecdotes every now and then. If there's some dead air, absolutely. Yeah, don't show naked hips if you're streaming on Twitch. Then again, he is a flesh tuber, and that rule is only about VTubers, so... Oh, damn. Streaming on the train right next to Toa? 20k! Jesus! Also, AI voices are a little bit better nowadays. Interactions. Okay. Yeah, that also works. Damn, he's growing fast. Assassinate them. Yeah? Back when the dislike button on YouTube is still a thing, but whether it's a like or a dislike, it counts the same for YouTube, because both are engagement. YouTube doesn't distinguish between positive comments or negative comments. A comment's a comment. Like, hate watching something still counts as a view. That's a cool overlay. He absolutely has the personality. Oh, I thought it was his webcam with like dynamic focus. I thought maybe, webcam technology went ahead in the last 70 something years, but I guess not. uh, Now it's time for Elden Ring. Yeah, doesn't even need to play up the persona. Yep. Like and subscribe to my channel as well. I might not be streaming Dark Souls, but I play Alchemy Stars every now and then. Three monitors, that's... Oh, I guess like one for OBS, another for chat, and the middle for the game. Yeah, makes sense. She was being observed, watched by some cameras, so I wonder if shit's gonna hit the fan somehow. Oh, hello, hero. Sup? Down on your luck as well? Your sword's a little grimy. And you yourself look a little grimy as well. Oh, I thought that's gonna be the end of the episode, but no, we're barely halfway through. Like, it would be a perfect place to, cliffhang it. And thus he was blessed by Goddess Meldia? Or what's his story exactly? A sick sister, so I'm assuming looking for a cure? Gathering herbs. Yeah. In a monster-infested forest. and his village was attacked by the forces of the Demon Lord, and everybody perished, right? Right. And that was his motivation to fight against Veltol. Something tells me those might not have been his forces, though. Not directly, at least. Yeah? You probably didn't have MSG. Salt was probably fairly hard to come by. Sugar. What's the blue thing? Like colored tofu? True. And how did he even manage to survive? Yeah, exactly. Veltol is one thing, he had a whole, like, ritual thing to resummon him. Mm-hmm. The blessing of the goddess or something like that. So you did become an immortal, just, through different means. Okay, right. Right, he can still be, like, killed. He just doesn't die of old age. Hmm. Curious how he never got any, like, new clothes, though. Right. We can't have some sort of a wild card that can potentially rally people. Yeah? Yeah, the immortal Hans would probably not distinguish between, you know, eternal youth and immortality. Maybe a collab? uh, that's a very good question, actually. Just for the sake of it? Yeah, makes sense. Hmm, interesting. Right, so he essentially rallied the rejects in a way. Yeah? And that's why he wanted world peace, right? True. Just look around, man. Now, yeah, you are correct here. It's not how it's supposed to be, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah? You're gonna be collabing soon. Uh, That would actually be amazing if he also became a streamer. Like, imagine the kayfabe, the potential of the hero streamer and the Demon Lord streamer collabing and bickering. Maybe not quite yet. Maybe not quite soon, but eventually. Yakuza? Why are you going up against the Yakuza? Bunny Bones. You're quite hairless yourself. You know, just saying. Also, she could probably just hack your implants. Cool music. He's probably just about strong enough to stand up on his own against him. Right? He has like, what, almost 100k followers. Yeah? Million. That's even better. Yeah? Enough to stop the punch. And regenerate. Yeah. Yeah. 1 million is enough to get at least a little bit of strength. Hmm. Well, Veltol can bodyguard you. Exactly. There we go. Could update your setup maybe with some money. Right, there's the whole furnace business. Immortal furnace. Scheme. Halation. It really reminds me of Scanty and knee socks. Rude. They're gonna meet up, aren't they? What are you stealing? Oh! That's some good music. And that's the episode. All right. That was a good one. I like it. I like this show. This episode, I feel, had a nice, like a vertical slice of what this show is, right? Some slice of lifey bits, bits and pieces of like philosophy when Veltol was talking with Graham, then some action at the end, some mystery, some scheming behind the scenes, right? Nice vertical slice. I can imagine that out of people who give every show a 3-episode rule, if they weren't convinced by the first two, they would be convinced by this one. Like, if the previous episode did not convince me, then this one would, to continue watching. The Shadows of Shinjuku. Gonna be delving deep into the dark underbelly of the city. Let's delve into this episode again now, though. Right, we get a full and proper explanation of how they stumbled upon the idea of being a streamer, yeah? He does have a great voice, he does have great looks, he does have a great aura, right? And he, most importantly, he doesn't have to pretend. He's never out of character, right? He is the Maou, and he behaves like the Maou. He doesn't need to pretend, and that's a big bonus, if you ask me. Even if you can't play the current trending games that use a familia. Okay, so I'm assuming like you plug, you get a cable from your PC, you plug it into the familia, and you do like a full dive VR MMO or whatever, right? But there are still older games that still use a good old controller, and you can still play them even if you don't have a familia. Okay, cool. So he's playing the older games like Dark Souls. Sure. Live streaming is one of the pleasures of net culture. Sure. Oh, Pim. Right, the Aether Network, something that allowed all people. It's practically impossible for every individual to filter out what's correct from the vast flood of information being shared. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't changed since the days of the internet. Even nowadays, being able to filter what's correct and what's incorrect from the deluge of information that we get delivered almost straight into our brains with phones and smartwatches and shit. It's not easy. It's really not easy. Especially if someone has, like, low... How do I call it? There's, like, specific term for it. Not media literacy, that's a whole other fucking discourse. Like low critical thinking ability, for example. And you gotta remember that schools don't really teach critical thinking. It's not deemed a necessary skill for some godforsaken reason. I mean, the reason is very well known. People up top don't want you to critically think, basically, right? Like, if you are thinking critically, then you can't fall for the propaganda. If you're thinking critically, then you don't fall for advertisement. If you're thinking critically, then you can discern what's true and what's false in the article that was written about some random ass celebrity. And it's just not good business for people to be able to think critically. Then again, even people who are able to think critically, they also fall for advertisement and stuff. Like, I know myself that, you know, I'm sitting there watching the TV, I'm like, oh, the ad, I'm never gonna fall for it, right? I see like an ad for some, I don't know, cleaning thing for the bathroom, and no, I'm never gonna buy it. Fuck you, I'm never buying the thing you're advertising. But then I'm like, oh, I need to buy something to clean the bathroom, and the first thing that comes into my mind is the thing that was advertised. So it works on a subconscious level. Even if you realize it and you know it, it still works. But yeah, it's a really big issue not being able to tell the truth from the false. And even in the age of today's internet, it does mean people get swept up into the group consciousness, separate group consciousnesses, basically. Right? Like, some people believe the Earth is flat, and there is just about enough information corroborating their story on the internet, all false, of course, or stretched truths, that they are comfortable enough believing what they believe. And that's how it works. And you can't really change that. Unless you, like, either turn the internet off, which is not something that can happen nowadays, I don't think, or you censor the internet massively, which would open a way to a metric fuck ton of abuse, right? Like, censoring the internet is not a good thing. Or you could, I don't know, fine whoever is posting incorrect information, but that also is open for abuse, first of all. Second of all, a fine as a punishment is really just a price you pay for the like to be allowed to commit that crime. And whoever can afford it can do it, whoever can't afford it can't do it. So it would have to be, I don't know, if a news outlet releases a story that's provably false, then the entire board goes to prison or something like that would be just about the only thing that would fix it. And let's be honest, it's not happening. So it's gonna continue working that way until the fucking heat death of the universe. I like it. I like her reaction here. It's another thing that I've been conditioned to expect, right? I've been conditioned to expect when the main heroine, because let's be honest, she is the main heroine here, is being what's the word? Praised on her looks, on whatever. She's gonna start blushing or she's gonna be all calm, and then there's just that, puff of steam and she's completely red, and the wavy mouth and ow, 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 ow sound, right? I've been conditioned to expect that, but no. None of that. A little bit surprised, but in the end, yep, thank you. Cool. I like it. It's realistic. That should do it. That's a good setup. No, should do it. This is like a good setup. There's a mic on a boom arm with a pop filter. There's a triple monitor setup. 2 of them horizontal, 1 vertical for chat alone. Wireless mouse, wireless keyboard. 2 whole entire webcams look like... what's that model? Brico? Logitech Brico, I think? Or Brio? Brio or Brico, can't remember. They're good webcams. They go up to 4K. Nice gamer chair, although gamer chairs are probably not something you should be using, just so you know. They are usually of a fairly shitty quality, and the faux faux leather just ends up cracking and peeling off, and it's just not fun. It's much better to get something like this. It's made of mesh, even in summer. There's, ventilation, it adjusts to my back and everything, so don't spend incredible amounts of money for a gamer chair. You're not an F1 driver, you don't need a bucket seat, you really don't. Okay, he was able to analyze everything and just like that understand how it works, but not gain the skills. Crazy to see that in the year 2099, not much has changed when it comes to operating system. There's still Chrome, or triangular Chrome icon, but doesn't have a circle in the middle, but rather a triangle. The green circle icon, that's basically OBS. The blue swirly, that looks like not Firefox. What's the... I mean, I have it installed. I might just as well look up the name. Thunderbird. Yeah, the Mozilla email client and some other stuff, all in that made-up alphabet. And this is just Steam. I thought it might have been a browser where he's going to be looking for games to play, but it looks like Steam, just a much shittier interface than what Steam already has. And what's the title? Bloody Spirit. Right, so we know what From Software is going to be up to after they make Elden Ring 2 and Elden Ring 3. Bloody Spirit. Not spirit, spill it. Bloody Spill It 2, Bloody Spill It 3. That's gonna be the next trilogy. Yeah, he's able to analyze the device, but not the game and not the skills. You know, not gain the skills necessary. People are gonna love the gap, absolutely. Someone all too confident in himself who still fails at the game and is not a rage kind of a content creator, right? Like the entertainment doesn't come from him raging and mashing his keyboard and throwing the controller at the wall. The entertainment comes from him being persistent. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Opening greeting. Yeah. This would have worked. Behold and tremble in fear, I'm the Demon Lord Veltol Velvet Velsvald. I will give you the greatest moment of your limited lives. There. Sure, works for an intro. Absolutely. Skip this bit, but yeah. And that is just OBS. Streamlabs OBS, even, I would say. Just the interface is kind of switched around. Yeah, the panel in the bottom right is basically the exact same. What he has in the to the left is like the volume sliders I have in the middle. Yeah, kind of sort of an OBS. Glad to know it still continues into the future. Stream every day, right? Keep talking, even if you have no viewers. Those are like legitimately good tips. If you're planning to get into streaming, follow her tips because they're legitimately good. Talking about the content of the game is best, yeah, but some non sequiturs also work. Absolutely. Stay out of the living room, yeah, get some quiet. Right, like maybe some not quite GFE experience, but, you know, some people might be thirsting for him, and knowing that he lives with a woman, well, that would get him cancelled on Twitter. So yeah, better not reveal her existence. The fact that she had enough money, presumably, to put him up in Shinjuku, right next to Toa's stream, and put him in the trains and wherever, she's rich. Or advertisement is cheap. Either of those. $19K. Damn. That's a lot of viewers. Although, if you look in the bottom left corner, there's a fat round 0. So... I gain the power of faith from both positive and negative emotions. Yeah, basically he works like YouTube algorithm. Whatever the reaction is, doesn't matter as long as there is a reaction. And a classic, the controller batteries going out as you're playing the boss. And his player actually stops. I wonder if this is like Demon Souls footage or actually Dark Souls footage, that they just put this weird UI over, or have they made this little tiny game specifically for the purpose of this anime? Either possibility would be dope. I'm gonna have to look into the credits. Do they credit like Unity or Unreal or something? What's it called? New Game credited Unity, for example, because some of those, some of the like screens did have Unity interface, and they made a game, and that game was probably also working on Unity. I really thought that his story is gonna be, or the first arc of this anime, rather, is gonna be about his growth as a streamer. But no, he's straight up at 1 million already. So not much more growth to be done here. And yeah, that's 1 million. Bloody Spirit 3. What is this? We don't know who that is observing her. Presumably it's Marcus, but it could really be whoever. We don't know. He's funny when he's mad, Lord Vel, that's, yeah, classic comments, classic chat. After she has been watched through that camera, I thought that something's gonna happen to him, right? Like he's gonna be walking down this alley and someone's gonna attack him. Or maybe he's gonna come back home and something is gonna happen to Makina. Maybe their flat is gonna get broken into. Which is actually something that I might want to note down. It's like an immediate, I guess, theory, but still. Something happens to Makina. Veltol has to help. Yeah, safe to assume. Just the embodiment of the distortions and strain. And here's the hero, down on his luck. And we get a backstory for him. He went into the forest to gather some medicinal herbs for his sister. And as he came back, there was nowhere to come back to. No more. I wonder... I probably have it noted somewhere already, don't I? Yeah, Graham's sister did not die to immortals. She was killed to make him fight immortals. Probably not. But I'm gonna note down another theory. The army that killed Graham's family was not Veltol's. Maybe it was working at the orders of Marcus, maybe it was working at the orders of some third party, maybe it was a band of monsters who decided to fight against both the Immortals and Immortals. Something like that, maybe. Nice bowl of udon with some green stuff in it. I don't know what could it be, but it's a thing. And yeah, they are basically kind of the same. Like, Graham killed plenty of people Veltol cared about, and Veltol killed plenty of people that Graham cared about. So it kind of evens out. Not really, because you could argue that Veltol started it all, but as we hear later, he started it in basically good faith. He didn't become an immortal, just eternally young. Right, soon after the Immortal War ended, war broke out among the mortals. Obviously it would. The Immortals were defeated. Well, there's a lot of land to grab. Who should grab the land? Well, I, of course. My country, not yours. And I will fight for it. Duh. Not only that, but a big, like, power vacuum opened. Right? It used to be that humans had to unite against that big power and fight it, but now that big power is not there anymore. So who's gonna be the strongest among the humans? Well, we gotta establish the pecking order, first of all. Second of all, we have a war economy already going. We have a lot of soldiers and heroes and whatnot, and gotta use it somehow. Yeah, makes perfect sense. And the existence of the hero became the next obstacle, absolutely. Someone who the local rulers have no control over, right? Someone who could very well and very easily rally people underneath him. Someone who is eternally young, as we learn. Someone who's just about strong enough to not be cut down by a random band of mercenaries. Well, that's not an existence you want to have when you want to establish your rule among the people. So we gotta get rid of it somehow. There's no place for me in a world that doesn't need a hero. Doesn't it, though? Doesn't it? I think it might. Even if not right now, then depending on what exactly the immortal furnace is, and depending what exactly Marcus's plans are, this world might very well need a hero. It might very well need both a hero and a demon lord, perhaps even working together. Rule the world for world peace. This is cool. This is a cool bit of lore that immortals aren't just like a separate breed of creatures, right? You aren't born an immortal. You aren't just, you know, like there are elves and humans. There is no humans and immortals, right? They're not a separate species. They are made. Everybody used to be a mortal at some point. But of course, mortals feared, envied, and persecuted immortals, and so he essentially started an immortal uprising. Not even necessarily to destroy the mortals or destroy the mortal world, but to bring peace. That's the nature of all living beings. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Being a dick is generally a nature of all living beings. And that's why every time I hear someone say that, oh, you know, the perfect Marxism would work if people started working together. No, the fuck it wouldn't, because people would not start working together. It's a utopian idea. It's an impossibility, because any sort of utopian setup, like, I don't know, Marxism, communism, whatever, needs to completely break it is one selfish asshole. And then other people are gonna notice, and they're also gonna be a little bit more selfish, right? Like, imagine there is apples, take for free however you need. There's no money, right? Utopian society, no money, everybody gets as much as they need and gives as much as they can, right? That's the usual idea. Well, I need 2 apples, but I'm gonna get an entire crate. And then I'm gonna be giving it out to people who couldn't get those apples because there's not enough for everybody now that I've taken a crate. Now I can trade those apples for something, right? And maybe we could devise some sort of a token that would simplify that exchange, and you get money again. And you get commerce and you get capitalism, or whatever else is based on money. So, yeah, it's the nature of humanity. It's the nature of all living beings, absolutely. To prevent such conflict between the weak, that is the world peace I desire. Yeah, that's about the only way you can handle it. By force. Not by societal change, because it's not going to happen. Not by a change across all of humanity, because that's even less likely to happen. You gotta enforce it somehow. Yeah. He has the right idea. The hero no longer exists. Yeah, my existence is proof of your own, indeed. Apparently they're going up against the Yakuza. I thought that she might be trying to steal something from Marcus's shipment, and they're gonna run into each other. But apparently no. Apparently the Yakuza instead. And it seems like 1 million followers was enough to give him a nice regeneration and some decently strong magic. Rat sniffing around about the furnace. Would it be Takahashi or would it be Makina? Could be either. Probably Makina if I were to bet. Our scheme is progressing smoothly on that other matter. We'll be able to cause halation. Halation. What exactly is halation? Halation is the effect of light bleeding around dark areas in film photography. So essentially the creation of a halo. I don't know what it means in this context. I'll go as well. You will. It's just a whim. And he will go probably here because they're probably doing some business with the Yakuza or whatever this group is. Yeah, probably what's gonna happen. No need to check what's inside. Just ram through the door and start punching. That's gonna work. The shadows of Shinjuku. So we're gonna learn more about the nature of the dark underbelly, probably, right? All the shadowy deals being done down there. Maybe Marcus trading with the gangsters, right? Stuff like that. Probably that would be my expectation. And yeah, and that would be the episode. Episode 3 of Maou 2099, and as I already said, it was a good one. It felt longer than I thought it would, but not in a bad way necessarily, right? I think it mostly felt long because we squeezed like 3 entire plots into it. First, we got the whole backstory as to how Veltol became a streamer. I'm gonna say not a VTuber, right? A streamer. We got the whole entire setup, and everything is like fairly realistic there, which is super cool, right? Like they didn't go for some fancy thing with, oh no, we don't use cameras, there's a magic orb that records you in 360. Or no, we don't use controllers anymore, there's just this power glove that you use to control games or whatever, right? They didn't go overboard with it. I actually like the futuristic aspects of this show because it does feel like it's 2099 in a way, right? Where people still have controllers around, where people still have copies of Dark Souls, but it's not necessarily how the modern games are played and how the modern games are, right? It doesn't give me the thing. I don't even know how to call it. Where you sometimes like read a book or watch a movie that was made in 1900s, right? A movie from 1990 or 1980 or whatever, and the movie takes place in the year 2020. And there are flying cars and holograms, and people never age, and people never die, and it's whoa, utopia and whatnot. And you're like, no, it's not what happened. This gives me the vibes of sufficiently plausible, right? And that's cool. I like it. I really do. I like how realistic is the approach to streaming. That hasn't changed for the past 70 something years, right? That's also cool to see. Then there was the other part, the talk with Graham, which was a little bit more philosophical, right? But that was also cool that Graham didn't like immediately jump at his throat, for example, because it's been so many years and he's so beaten down and he's so just disillusioned with everything at this point that okay, he could kill Veltol maybe, but what would that change? It wouldn't save the world because Veltol is no longer the biggest threat, and the biggest threats are basically out of Graham's comprehension by now. So whatever he does is just not gonna work. It's not worth it. So why bother? Cool. I do have to question how did he not change his clothes for the past however many years, 500? Yeah, 500 years that he's been wandering the earth. You'd think that he'd be wearing something a little bit more modern, right? It's a different thing with Veltol, who was essentially like transported to modern times, modern-ish. So I thought that maybe Graham was teleported, right? Like, oh, our Grand Mage detected that Veltol is gonna revive in the year 2099. We're sending you there, Drum, to kill him in that timeline as well, or whatever, and he was sent here. But no, he apparently was wandering the earth for 500 years and didn't change how he dresses. And didn't really care much about his sword, seemingly, because it's also fairly rusted. Like, you could see he was not oiling it, he was not really treating it well. Which is a shame. He should have. He really should have. But I'm not sure if he's gonna need it in the first place, right? There's no Demon Lord to kill, unless we count Marcus as the new Demon Lord and the corporate overlord, which might be like the final battle, maybe not of this season, but perhaps of the whole entire series as a whole. We'll see. Like, we still don't know exactly and precisely where the story is going, right? It's still fairly shrouded in mystery. We know there is immortal furnace, we know there is halation, but what they are, we can only speculate. What are Marcus's goals? We can only speculate. What role will Veltol and Graham play in that? We don't really know. Cool. It's a bit of a slow burn regarding the story, but I don't mind. I really don't. Veltol getting 1 million subscribers, though, that felt a little bit fast, to be perfectly honest with you. But whatever. And we didn't really even see, like, time progression, right? Like, I would have liked to know how long it took, for example. Maybe give us a year of a time skip, and within a year he amassed 1 million followers. But as it was, it kind of felt like he got to 1 million over the weekend, which, you know, not the best time frame. Although maybe there's like much more people in the world nowadays. No, a lot of them died in the merge, so probably fewer people, actually. I don't know. There's still so many things we don't know, and I hope we learn them eventually. Veltol and Takahashi are certainly gonna run into Marcus and Kinohara, trying to steal whatever it is they're trying to steal. I just wonder what it is. And it really seems to me like Takahashi is really not telling us everything yet. She still hides plenty of mysteries. The name of Bone Bunny, for example, that hasn't appeared yet. And she really did click her tongue at that sound, so maybe some sort of a different persona of hers in a way, like the underground identity, or maybe something that she used to be but no longer wants to associate herself with, right? There is certainly some things about her that we still don't know, but we are bound to learn eventually. But yeah, to sum it up, it was a good episode. I really enjoyed myself. I really enjoyed watching it. But I'm curious, did you guys enjoy this episode? What did you think of it, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? Say all that in the comments down below. No spoilers. Spoilers as always, Discord. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to be notified of future videos. Not only Maou 2099, but also Arifureta, Dandadan, Shangri-La Frontier, Mecha Ude, Mahonare, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified when I go live, because I do go live sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Zerene, Yuki Alai, Dr. Watt, Akama, Sermarsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to stream?